7:15.
All right.
And I've been looking at it ever since that day, trying to get a better understanding. Yeah, I need a little help with it.
All right, read it, and the verse in front and the verse after. So Romans, so I don't know what it says.
So it'll be 14 through 16.
Uh-huh.
All right. We know that the law is spiritual, but I am unspiritual, sold as a slave to sin. I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree that the law is good.
If I do, what's the last part?
If I
Do.
do what I do not want to do,
Mm-hmm.
I agree that the law is good.
I agree that the what?
The law is good.
Is good. You have that. You have that in another. See, you're asking a question about what I was trying not to teach on, because I wanted to save it for Sunday.
Speaking of Sunday,
Ah.
into what you talked about last week.
You have that, Spence? Is that what you're looking up? A Bible verse? Huh?
Talking about the one from.
The one he just read?
Yeah, that's Paul.
You look it up?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I thought that's what you were looking up. Was that what
I
you?
was asking. I was making sure the way I got you on here is right. Romans 7:19.
Hello, hello. I'm gonna beat you to it. All right. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So that right there is saying we in our natural state have a sin nature. For what I do, for that which I do, I allow not. This is King James. For what I would, that I do not. That I do not. No. I heard his. For what I would, or that I want to do, I do not. But that which I hate, that's what I do. If then I do which I don't want to do, I consent that the law is good. Now then, it is no more that I that do it, but the sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me. But how to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would do, I do not, but the evil which I would not want to do, that is what I do. All right. So, to start off, he's talking about his flesh. And here's the question you should ask first. Instead of asking this question, you should ask, who am I? There's a big thing in the world today about, how many genders there are and what's your pronoun and how do you identify. It's a very good question. How do you identify? Because that's really what this conversation is about. See, do you want to say that you, who is the real you? Because I can guarantee you every single one of you there's about 3 of you, maybe 4 of you that you present, right? Don't we act certain ways and do certain things and want certain things, and then we turn right around and the next day we want different things and we do certain things, and right? So the question is, who is the real you? That's the real question. And he starts answering it here. He's saying, in the flesh, and the King James put it in parentheses, the carnal man, he says, I was born into sin. We're all born into sin, which means this sin nature in us. Like, you don't have to tell a kid to lie. You don't have to tell a kid to backtalk you, cry. You don't have to tell a kid, you don't have to tell a kid to, eat too many sweets, and you don't have to tell them to do wrong. They're just going to do wrong, right? You don't like this. Listen, you don't have to teach them this is how you steal a cookie, right? But it's amazing. A 2-year-old will do it, right? They'll do it. You have to teach them not to. You have to teach them to go against what is coming natural to them. Stop crying. That's a manipulation trick. You didn't sit down and say, now listen, this is how you manipulate people. You're little, this is going to work for you. Especially if you get in public, your mother's not going to want to be embarrassed. They don't have a school where they teach kids how to throw a tantrum. The school of tantrum. I don't know. Maybe it's right here at Regenesis. Who knows? And all the little 2-year-olds are all lined up learning how to throw a tantrum. No, you don't have to teach them that. They just do it. You're born with it, right? Okay? So that's the sin nature. It has its hooks in all of us, okay? Now, you could look, let's use that 2-year-old. You could look at the 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old could identify as, oh, I'm a tantrum thrower. I just call me little tantrum because or is that something that he is? Or is that something that he does? Is that something that he even wants to do? Huh? But yet, if he does it enough, then we start identifying, oh, that little kid's a liar. That little kid's a thief. That little kid, right? Or whatever, right? And you would say, well, I mean, is he really? Or is it just, was he a bad kid? Or is he just a kid? Is he a good kid? Or, so how are you identifying? So you go through life and you start doing these repetitive things. And so we have a saying in leadership training. Some of you know it. Some of you have heard it. Repetition is... Nobody in this room knows it? Repetition, write it down. Repetition is the motor of learning. Repetition is the motor of learning. You're not good at it yet because you don't fully know it yet. See, I can say you're not good at it yet. Why? You only get good at something, and you only become a mastery of anything by doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then you can master it. You become a journeyman. You start out, you're an apprentice, and then you become, a journeyman, and then you become, whatever. Right? And then you get your license, and you get your, and then you have, X number of people on their vans in the trade, 20 years of experience, 50 years in business, at our coffee shop is, the pizza shop has been, what is that supposed to mean? You've been doing it for 50 years, you're supposed to be good. Right? You're supposed to be good at it. Why? Repetition is the motor of learning. I was thinking about this, and we use that in leadership, and I use that in leadership training. Because we're teaching systems like to people who aren't conscious. A lot of times we're doing what we're doing and we're not conscious of what we're doing. But what's happening is we're learning something, we're reinforcing it, we're actually training it to ourselves. We're trained. You guys are awesome substance abusers. You're really good at it. You're really good at it. Just, you got it down to it. It's a T, a science, the justifications, the sneakiness, just everything you have to do. It's, why? I say that in jest, but what I'm saying is repetition is how you achieve everything, negatively or positively. Just because you drank a beer or even, snorted something up your nose once, doesn't make you an addict. Doesn't make you all of these things, right? It's the repetition. It's the repetition, the repetition, the repetition, the repetition, the repetition, the repetition. So, repetition is the motor of learning. In business and in ministry, and this is why, so you're taught, you set up systems and processes. What are systems and processes? Systems and processes in business, they keep the repetition flowing in the right way, right? The buns come out of the oven. We take the buns, we split the buns, we lay the buns open for the next guy on the line. He takes the cheese, he puts it on the toasted bun. Then this guy slides it down to this guy. He puts the burger, the lettuce, the da-da-da-da. It slides down to this guy. This guy wraps it up, puts it on the shelf. The clerk at the register turns around, grabs it off the slide, puts it in the bag, boom. Right? You have a system and a process. So you package all of these repetitive motions into a system, okay? Processes are how you get everything. So, I teach, right? Do you guys, have you learned this? Voices, choices, actions, habits, routines, lifestyle. Okay, so routines, habits are the repetition. Routine is the process. Okay, that would be another way of saying that. A routine is a package of habits. Okay? A routine is a package of habits. A process or a system is a combination, is a certain combination, a specific combination. I'll say it that way, a specific combination of repetitive actions. Okay? That's a process or a system. Okay? They figured out that everything, if you want to achieve more, right? Henry Ford figured that out. His goal was to be able to set, when no one could afford automobiles, only the super rich, Henry Ford figured out, listen, I want the average man to be able to, with just I don't know what it was, but I mean he had a very specific goal that it would only take 3 or 4 paychecks to buy one of his cars. How do you market a car to the masses, to the average guy? Well, he came up, he didn't invent the automobile, he invented the process to build automobiles, the assembly line. Just like McDonald's, they created a system, a process, and to give you inexpensive hamburgers. Henry Ford gave people inexpensive cars, but it was all because of the process. And so this is he didn't discover anything new. It's how they built the pyramids. It was a process. It was a routine. It was, this guy does this guy hands it off to this guy does this one thing, he's great at it, and he just does it over and over, and consistent, repetitive, consistent, boring, grind, get up, consistent. And guess what? A pyramid is built. Achieve a goal. And so habits, specific habits, combined and packaged into a routine will create your lifestyle. Okay? Now, where am I at in this whole thing? Scripture. So we teach that you can turn anything around through these systems and processes. You just got to get a new system or a new process. But I mean, that's what I would teach in business. But if I'm speaking to people, individuals who are trying to turn their life around, I'm going to say, change your habits, change your routines to achieve what you want. As I was thinking about this, and that's great. That's great, and it works. But what I was thinking about is why most everybody life is the way it is. It's not because of the habits and the routines that we're aware of and we're working on. It's all of the repetitive things that we do that we're just not even aware of. I'll give you an example. There's a repetitive thought that goes through most of our heads. But I suck at that, or I'm no good at it. I can't do it. It's hard. I don't want to. How many times does that repetitively, consistently pop up in our head? Here's one. Like almost everybody in this room. What will they think? 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 This is just a repetitive thought. So while we're working on these habits and this routine and this process and this conscious, and we're gonna come in, we're gonna sign the agreement to go into Regenesis, and we're gonna get a whole new set of routines and habits and everything like that. You suck. You're no good at it. What will they think? Just repetitively. Well, if repetition is the motor of learning, are you catching this? What are you learning? Huh? I suck. I'm no good. They think that they're going to think bad of me. Right? That's really probably what you're learning. Because for every one conscious step that you take and you're like, no, I'm going to change. You have that thought, right? No, I'm going to change. I'm going to do this. That's great. That's one That's one motion. And tomorrow you'll maybe get up and do that one motion again. Right? Now, in between that one motion, when you get up this morning and then you get up tomorrow, in between that, there's 24 hours of you suck, it's too hard, what do they think, you can't do it, you're going to fail again. There's 10,000s of those, repetitive, 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 and then you wake up the next morning and you take your one repetitive step of bravery. I'm going to face the day. I'm going to change. And then you spend the next 24 hours. You suck. You can't do it. It's too hard. What will they think? What's the reason? What's the purpose? You've never been good at it anyways. Who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. Right? Now, to Paul's point, which one am I? Who am I? Right? I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to say yes to God. I'm going to say yes to April and the pastors, and I'm going to do, and I'm going to, yeah, and inside, you suck. You don't want to do this. Why don't you quit? It's too hard. You're never going to amount to anything anyways. You've always failed. You could do all this, and then he brings someone along. See, they don't even like you. They didn't even smile at you. They walked away. They don't have time for you. They don't think anything about you. They don't care about you. Why don't you just quit? Give up. Right? That's what that's what really needs to be worked on. Right? That's what really needs to be worked on. How do you deal with that? Right? And then which one are you going to identify with? Do you say it's all you? Is it all you? Because on one hand, consciously, you're getting up, you're doing the right thing, right? But then there's like 23 and a half hours where internally it's, you can't do it, you suck, it's too hard, you're no good. So which one is the real you? Huh? Let me say this. And this is what most of you haven't figured out. You can't embrace both of them. Write that down. I cannot embrace both of them. I can't be both of them because they're opposed to one another. I was talking to a young man, and everything had gone to crap in his life, and he had succumbed to his addiction once again, left a trail of devastation. But now it's 2 weeks later. And he's like, I don't want that life anymore. I don't want it. And I said, and he also said earlier in the conversation, he said, I don't know why I do what I do. I don't know why I still want, to, because this has been ongoing. We've been in one another's life for probably, maybe 8 years. And it's been a cycle of, I think he's been here probably three times. And when people say, I don't know why I still want to use or get high, or I don't know, or, whatever, and like they're sitting in a rehab, just being here, or even just talking to me, a pastor or a counselor, says that you don't. I mean, there's part of you, right? I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be talking to a counselor. You wouldn't be talking to a pastor. You wouldn't be in this space where you're being challenged, or you're talking about, I don't know why I want to get high. Right? I don't know why when I get clean and I get 6 months, I still just like, why isn't it enough? Why do I still want to go? Right? Or when everybody, here's something that was said. When everybody says, I'm doing the best, I feel the worst. Like everybody's like, you're doing so great, you're clean, you're sober, you're doing the right stuff, and the family's proud of you and everything, and you're going to your job and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I feel the worst. I feel lousy. I just feel, ugh, I hate it. So, but now, we're like, I don't want that anymore. This is all in the conversation. I don't want that anymore. And he says, I don't think you believe me. Because I kept kind of going back. And he's like, I don't want it. I said, this is what I told him. I said, I believe that you believe that. I believe that you believe that you don't want to get high anymore. I believe you believe that. Here's the problem. All right, now I'm going to get into my sermon now. Here's the problem. You've lived your life on what you feel. Write this down. I've lived my life by how I feel. So he's standing in front of me, feeling right now that I don't want to get high anymore. I don't want to get drunk. I don't want to use. I don't want to, right? I absolutely 100% believe that he believes it, and I believe he believes it. Do I believe him? Do I believe that's the truth? So this is what I'm going to tell you. So what did I just have you write?
I live my life
By my feelings. I 100% believe that's the way you feel right now. Here's what I also believe about him, is he lives his life by his feelings. And 2 weeks from now, when he feels like he wants to get high, he'll embrace that as him wanting to get high, and he'll go get high. Is anybody having a revelation here yet? Okay.
I got a question. So, I mean, we're not all perfect. We're learning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And stuff. So, living our lives on it, me living my life on how I feel, I've captured the thought and turned it to Christ into detriment moments of like the thoughts that will take me down. You know, like encourage my children is my separation from him and everything. So like when I take my feelings and I bring it to God and capture that and lay it back to him, that is going by a new feeling. That's changing the repetition.
Okay.
And
Yep.
that create success.
Mm-hmm.
Just so when I do feel like I want to get high, that doesn't mean I'm going to go get high. I just got to continue the repetition, correct? Like, you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what you're talking about is, and what I was trying to get across to him, and he's never done it. He's never done it. And most of us don't do it. And when you relapse is proof that you haven't done it. Proof that you haven't done it. That you haven't separated, and this is what Paul's talking about. You understand? Paul is separating himself into all of these different categories. Within me, I feel, I mean, he could say, within me, I feel like I want to get high. But that's my sin nature that I'm in bondage to. That my carnal man, my fleshly man is, but there's a new me that exists. And the new me doesn't want to do that. Do you understand? See, and that's the confusion with this scripture. And that's the confusion with all of us. Is most of us aren't even brave enough. Even brave enough, let me say this, brave enough to cut yourself up and say, this part of me, I want to do away with. And wherever that leads and wherever that stuff is coming from, it's got to go. The problem with us is we look at all that and go, if I get rid of that and I get rid of that and I get rid of that, I won't even know myself. I mean, who am I at that point? I won't even know.
Pastor, went in with your question because this kind of goes with what I was watching a couple of nights ago and knowing certain backgrounds and stuff. Do you think that's one of the toughest people use when it comes to moving? Like, I don't know if you heard this old saying. I heard it in so many documentaries, both church and even in the world. Oh, I came from Blueville, West Virginia, and we moved to North Carolina because we've been living in Bluebird where there's lots of heroin added, so we came to North Carolina for a better life. Or, oh, we came from LA, Chicago, or New York, and we moved all the way here to Atlanta for a better life.
Right.
So my kids can stay out the street knowing that, yeah, you're in Atlanta or whatever new town you're in, but you're still doing the routine you're talking about. So you think people use that as an excuse?
Yeah, they're trying to externally deal with something that's an internal problem. You know, you have to move away from yourself. Or you have to, the biggest problem is you have to stop saying and believing that it's even you. Do you understand? It's not you. Like that I started out, who are you? Most of you don't know who you are, because you should embrace you. You should embrace who you are, you're created in God's image with a purpose, and you should embrace that. But you've been embracing just a bunch of BS. You've been embracing lies. Repetitively, constantly embracing it, and then saying, well, that's me. That's just how I am. I mean, that's what he was saying. That was his frustration. When I'm doing the right thing and everybody's so proud of me, I feel miserable. Yeah? What, you care about your feelings? Because your feelings don't change every minute of every day? Huh? You or your feelings. Ooh. You know? Get over it. Change. Stop embracing that feeling. Well, most people come in and they want counseling and everything or whatever. Most of it's, I think, I feel, I think, I feel, I think, I feel. There's your problem. You think you are your thoughts. You think you are your feelings. That's the problem. This is why God can tell you, do not lean on your own understanding. Do not trust yourself. Do not believe these thoughts. Why are you embracing these thoughts? Why are you taking them in? Why are you saying that I think and I feel and you got to understand? No. Change. Like you have to, this is when this says crucify like this is literally what it's saying. It's like you have to take captive. What does that mean? That you're saying, I take these thoughts captive, I examine them, and I put them down. One of the interpretations or translations said, arrest every thought as if it was a dangerous criminal. Throw it up against the wall, put handcuffs on it, and throw it out. It's not you. It's the enemy of you. And you are going like, it's me, but it's me. It's me. That's what he thought. That's what the young man. But how I feel. I'm like, dude, like, I've hated every job I've ever had. I hate getting up in the morning. I hate going to work at 6 a.m. I hate, because in the wintertime, it's dark when you go in. It's dark when you get off at 5 o'clock. So you go to work in the dark. You leave work in the dark. It's cold. It's dreary. You go some gravel, probably can picture it now. I hated it. And high fence, and you clock in, you go through the guard shack, freaking in some narrow thing. You're walking into the guard shack and it's fences, 12 feet tall and barbed wire on it, but it's a plant. And people are making lots of money in the plant. It was a prison. To me, like going into prison, but I get paid to go into my prison. Hated it. So, do you know what I needed to learn? I needed to learn faithfulness. I needed to learn endurance. I needed to learn how to suck it up. That was an awesome teacher. Just keep going every day. Who gives a rip what you feel? But I was miserable. I wanted to get high. The whole time I was not getting high and everybody was telling me I'm doing the right thing. I felt like, this is what he's saying, I still felt like I wanted to get high. Yeah? You don't even know what's going on in my head right now, but I won't tell you. Oh, it's so tempting. Hey! I'll say it like this. I'll say it like this. If I live my life by my feeling, I would just want to stay in the 30 seconds of sexual bliss, because that's what I feel like I want. And everything else just feels so sucky compared to that. So why can't I just stay in that state? Just live in that pinnacle of pleasure. 'Cause that's how I feel. And that's the best feel. Well, you haven't figured out. I mean, live by your feelings. Write this down. This is the quote right here. This is why we tape this. If you live by your feelings, you will never get what you want. Live by your feelings. You'll never get what you want. I'm preaching this as a sermon. So you're going to get some nuggets here. You're going to hear this again. Live by your feelings. You'll never get what you want. So to that young man, I believe that he felt that way. And I believe that that day he felt like he didn't want to get high. But this is what I know about him. I know that he lives by his feelings. So he may want, catch this, he may want his family to be restored. He may want a good marriage. He may want to be respected by his children. He may want to have a certain lifestyle that a certain amount of money requires. Right? How many of us want those things? We all do. But he'll never have it. Because he lives by his feelings. He doesn't even live by his wants. He's so identified, he still identifies his feelings as him. That he can't achieve what he wants. Because he lives by how he feels. See, because if you want a good marriage, you have to go into the plant and go against your feelings. Every effing day, rain or shine, whether you feel like it, go to work tired, come home tired, doesn't effing matter what you feel. If you want to achieve that your wife trusts you as a provider, is that what you want? Because your feelings are counterintuitive to what you want. Your feelings will tell you to sleep in. Your feelings will tell you it's too hard. Your feelings will tell you I don't like it. Your feelings will say I don't like the cold. I don't. I don't like the cold. And don't add dampness or rain on top of cold. It's crazy. What was that show? North Sea Fisherman or something like that? I don't know. Huh?
Deep sea fisherman, the Alaskan fisherman?
Yeah, something like that. Where they used to do competition who caught in the mud, like there's the catch or something.
Oh, the catch.
Oh my goodness. Brutal. Brutal. I would like that would be like to put me on a boat like that, like send me to jail before you do that. Like that's brutal. Brutal. Cold, wet, working hard, all on top of it. That's, brutal. But you know what? There's people that overcome what they feel because they want a certain lifestyle. They don't have any other skill set or trade. So they'll go do it to make their $60,000, $70,000 a year. So why? Because they want a family. They want a home. They want a wife who's not going to leave them. So you know what they do? They go against their feelings of it's cold. It's hard. And every day they go out and they go against their feelings. Because if you live your life by your feelings, you'll never get what you want. I see a pretty girl. My feelings, I get all tingly and my eyes dilate. It's biological. It's hormonal. Can't help it. What, you going to tell your eyes not to dilate when you see, it happens. It's going to happen. It happens. It's biological. And you have a feeling. And your ego, and let me see if I still got it. Let me smile. Just I give her a little smile. I don't give that smile to everybody, but my eyes dilated when she came into the room. And reaching in my pocket for a Mentos. We might have a Mentos moment. Mentos, the fresh maker. I don't know, we just grabbed the same handrail in the subway, and I happen to have a Mentos in my pocket. We lived happily ever after. Right? Or what's your wife think about that? Oh, excuse me. I forgot about it. I was all in my feelings there. Right? Living in your feelings. Right? Wouldn't that feeling be great? Yeah, that would be a great feeling. But I thought you wanted a good marriage. Right? Wouldn't it feel nice to lay back in bed and sleep for a couple more hours? Yeah, but I thought you wanted a nice house. Go ahead, lay in bed for a couple more hours. Do that a couple times. Let's see if you have a job. And then do that repetitively. And every 6 months, every year, you have some different employment, a different job, and then after about 4 times of that, you can't get a good job. Why? Because we're living by our feelings. We're not even living by what we want. The problem is, and this was the exercise I was going to have you do, if you have a piece of paper at some point, you need to write down what you want. Some people would say, I want to make a lot of money. That's me. You can write that down. Let me challenge you to change the make a lot of money to have a lot of money.
Sacrifice.
I know people who have made a lot of money. Ask them how much they have. Zero. Because you know why? You know why? Because one day you feel like life's too hard, and I feel like I want to get high. And so all the money you made, you don't have because you're giving it to the dope man. Well, and then that leaves you with a hangover. And what happens if the job drug tests you? Well, and I can't go in. And I can't go in for a couple days, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? And now because you live by your feeling, now it's affecting what you want. I live by my feelings. Now I have to tell a lie to my wife. I can't look my pastor in the eye. I gotta kind of walk side. I can't tell now I'm hurting my marriage. Now what I really want is a relationship with good people, and I want a relationship with my children, and I want a healthy relationship, but I can't look any of them in the eye. This is what I want. This is what I want out of life. but I'm living my life according to my feelings. Do you understand? So when the young man stood in front of me and said, I don't want this, and I whatever, I said, I honestly believe you feel that way. I honestly believe 100% you feel that way. But I know this about him. He's never dealt with, he's always lived according to how he feels. And today he feels like he doesn't want to get high. 2 weeks from now, when the job sucks, when the this, when someone hurt his feelings, when he's fighting with his wife, when he's whatever, he's not going to live according to what he wants. He's going to go back and do what he feels. And he's going to feel like he wants to get high, and then it's going to hurt his employment, it's going to hurt his marriage, and the very things that he wants, he's going to go against that because, again, he hasn't dissected, just like Paul was dissecting the things I want to do, I can't seem to do, the very things that I don't want to do, those are the things that I do, right? And we embrace all of this. We embrace it and we say, this is me. And it's like, no, that's not me. It's the flesh. There's the spirit, there's the law, right? There's all the do's and the don'ts. And now I have to figure out, what do I really want? All right? Let me leave you with this nugget. Because there's something even deeper than want. So you can live according to your feelings, or you can live according to your desires, your wants. All right? Listen, write that down. I can live according to my feeling, or I can live according to my wants/desires. And see, some people might even say your desires and your feelings are the same. No, they're not. Because like I said, you can desire a strong marriage, but when the feeling of anger's a feeling, right? I want a strong marriage. But now I'm feeling angry, and I hurt my marriage with my anger. But I want a strong marriage. Do you see the difference? I want my children to respect me. But I do things that they would be ashamed of me. Because I felt this way. I felt angry. I felt lust, right? So I cheated on their mom or whatever. Right? I felt my eyes dilated, and everything got a little tingly, and I smiled, but that hurts my marriage. But in the moment, that's what I felt. And so we're living according to our feelings, and we're not even living according to what we want. Write what you want down. Okay? So those things should be a higher priority. Then you need to prioritize what you want. Because there's going to be times when number 3 on your list of what you want is in conflict with number 1. So you really got to know what you want. Because I can say, oh, I want a nice car, or I want a car that doesn't break down, or I want this or that. But you also want a house. Which one do you want more? Because if you're spending money on rims, radios, and shiny things, window tint and paint jobs, and classic cars and whatever, you might struggle to get your house. Understand? You might want ministry. Paul wrestled with this too. He said, listen, he said it's better to marry than to burn. But if you can be single and be in ministry, that's ideal. Because marriage is going to come in conflict with you want ministry and you want marriage and you want family and everything like that, but there's going to be times where those two things are in conflict with one another. And so if you just didn't want it, if you could do without the wanting it, if you could do without that desire, that would be better. But it's better to get married than to burn with passion and desire and try to wrestle with that. Right? Because you can balance the two. But there are times where my ministry and my marriage would seem like they're in conflict. But what I want, and this goes back to voices, choices, actions, habits, routines, right? So you set up your routines, your systems, and your processes according to what you want. Right? And if you set up your habits and your routines, the problem is most of us have habits that are in conflict with our wants. Am I right? So which are you? Are you what you want, or are you what you feel? See, if you haven't even worked on that yet, separating yourself and saying, that is a lying feeling. That is not me. That is not what I want. So I silence that feeling. I push past that feeling. Right? And I go to work. I wanted to be I wanted to be self-employed before my wife would release me to be self-employed. She didn't trust me. You know what she wanted? She wanted a steady income. And self-employment was not a steady income. She looked at my past employment history and saw that I struggled to keep a job, constantly being getting laid off every 6 months, every 9 months. But with 2 kids, she wanted a steady income. I wanted a healthy marriage. I knew that what I wanted was I wanted to be in ministry. Okay? I wanted to be in ministry. For me to be in ministry, ultimately, I knew that I couldn't be going into a factory working a job and be in ministry. But I also knew that I couldn't be married with 2 kids and have a wife that didn't trust me, that was angry, that was concerned, fretful, and worrying about where's the meals going to come from? Are we going to have a roof over our head? Can we pay our bills? Right? How am I going to do ministry if I got a wife and kids who can't trust their father to provide? Right? Okay? So if I want ministry, catch this, if I want ministry, I have to have her believe in me. She has to believe in me. She has to believe that come hell or high water, whether we're doing ministry, whether we're doing anything, just living life, she can have confidence in me. So now if she has confidence in me, then when I say, honey, I feel like Lord's saying X, Y, Z, and we need to do this, or we need to do that, or let's get up and go to church, let's go to this, let's go here, or do this, or do that. Guess what? She can be and go, okay, yeah, yeah, you're a good leader. You're a good provider. You're faithful to me. And so I'm right here with you. Right? I had to make a believer out of her before I could go make believers out of any of you. And I don't know if you haven't met her, she ain't easy. she ain't easy to get the good job. She's going to scrutinize it every which way. Right?
But it'll be perfect when it's done.
That's what I'm saying. So I think I could go, oh no, the Bible says be perfect, so I'm going to strive for perfection in my ministry and everything. But if she don't think I'm perfect, if I can't convince her that I'm holy, that I'm righteous, that I'm faithful, that I'm committed, that I'm all of those things that the ministry requires of me, and I can't be that in the eyes of my wife and my kids, right? So you know what I did? I freaking went into that freaking factory that I hated. And I put a paycheck on the table. And I didn't feel like it. And it wasn't fun. And it wasn't enjoyable. But guess what? Here I am. I got what I wanted. Do you understand? I didn't live by, if I lived by my feelings, I wouldn't have done any of that. But I can also guarantee you, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in ministry. I probably wouldn't even have a wife. Like, we would just be fighting. We wouldn't have a marriage. We wouldn't have, I had to learn. So my thing was, I went into the factory, and I believed that I could be self-employed. I believed I could have my own business. I believed that, but she didn't. So I had to make her a believer in me. That only took like 10 years of marriage. You'd think, no, she said I do. She believes in you. Nah. All right? She don't. All right? She only said I do on a hunch. Just because you're so fine. Then her eyes are opened to all your bad habits and your dirty ways and your it doesn't matter. The clothes hamper could be 2 feet from where you pile your clothes up, like 2 feet. It's like instead of putting them there on the floor, you can put them right in here. This was designed for that. We paid for this. Clothes basket here. But yet, right here, right next to it. Not like even in another room, next to it is where they are. Why?
Carry your plate to the sink, you're apparently supposed to wash it, not just put it down.
Yeah. I mean, right? So I opened her eyes up to my bad way. And then I spent the next 10 years convincing her I was who she wanted. Hard convincing. doing everything that I didn't want to do. But guess what? That's how you gain the respect of your spouse. That's how you gain the respect of your children. That's how you get what you want. You know, like I said, I can tell you how I got into real estate, how I bought my first rental property. I can tell you exactly how I did it. Because every time I felt like I wanted a Big Mac, every time I felt like I wanted to go get a cell phone, every time I felt like I wanted a soda, every time I wished that I wished I could get, 50 channels on my TV and all I had was ABC, NBC, and CBS and PBS. That's how I got my rental. That's because I got what I wanted. But every time I felt like, I wished I could watch this or that, no. Do I want cable or do I want an investment property? Do I want the latest cell phone or do I want an investment property? You're going to live according to how you feel? Oh, it's hot, it's this, it's that. I feel like I want a soda, or I'm going to go drop $3 here, and I'm going to go drop $5 over here, and I'm just nervous and everything, and I just need something to calm my nerves down, so I'm going to go get a pack, whatever. Do you understand? What are you living your life by? So there's your feelings, there's what you want. Now listen, what you want should rank way, way higher, and you should never let your feelings interfere with what you want. Write that down. Never let my feelings interfere with what I want. Right? Oh, I want a good marriage, but I feel like hitting my wife. Well, okay, don't let your feelings interfere with what you want. Come on. And she'll give you lots of feelings. Now here's the so what you want should be, refine what you want. Get it down, prioritize what you want, okay? Now, truly the only way that you can prioritize what you want, I mean, if you're doing this with God, is something that's higher than want, is purpose. See, now when you know your purpose, you can prioritize what you want, because sometimes then your wants will even go against your purpose. See, if you want ministry, or your purpose is say, so you could say, I want to make a lot of money. And I would say, change that to, I want to keep a lot of money. Right? Then I would follow that up with why. So here's a perfect example. Some people would say, why? Because I want to sit on a beach and drink pina coladas for the rest of my life. And I would say, why? And they would say, maybe say this, because at my very nature, I'm just lazy and I don't want to, I mean, if we boiled it down, I'm giving you the short version, but I'm saying I could coach somebody through all this and spend, thousands of dollars and thousands of hours getting them to this thing because I'm inherently lazy and I just want to live a comfortable, easy life. Okay? So catch this. You're basically circling back around to how you feel. If you feel lazy, it's going to be counterintuitive. You'll never keep a lot of money. Why? Because you won't have the why. Laziness is not a good why to get you up in the morning, do the hard thing, go against all your feelings to produce what you need to produce. You got to have a motivation behind what you want. And there's no greater motivation than purpose. Purpose. So you want to make a lot of money. I want to make a lot of money. I can tell you exactly why. I said it when I was a kid. I said, I want to make this is what I said when I was a kid. I want to make $1 million. I told my parents, I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to be a millionaire. And then I followed it up. They didn't even ask me. Just kind of I made my first dollar on my newspaper route when I was like 10 years old. $1 that I got to keep. You had to sell 25 newspapers. I got to keep a nickel. They were 25 cents. I got to keep 5 cents of the 25 cents. And I sold 20. And I made my first dollar. And I was like, look, Mom, look, Dad, just think. 1 million more weeks. I'll be a millionaire. Kid don't know how long 1 million weeks is. I still don't know how long 1 million weeks is, but I know I ain't going to live that long. I know now. But then I was like, got my first dollar. But I said voluntarily in my heart, this is part of my purpose. I said, you know what I'd do if I had $1 million? I'd give it to the poor. That's my why. It's my why. Why do I have thrift stores? Why has God allowed this? Why? For the needy, for the less fortunate, for the people who can't. That's why. And so my purpose gets me up and gets me to challenge my feelings every day. I don't want to come in and talk to these guys. But this is why. This is your purpose. You're going to be sitting right in front of your purpose. Oh, I love it. My purpose motivates me to do everything I don't want to do. My purpose motivates me to do everything that I don't want to do. You understand? And even when I want, catch this, because what I want is hard. I want a good marriage. I want to be the priest of my home. I want to be respected in my community. I want to make lots of money. I want to keep a lot of money. I want to be able to bless people with money, right? These are all the things that I want. I want my kids to love me and respect me. I want to be in control of my time so I can go do and bless the people and be in the lives and be connected with the people that I want to be able to call the shots. That's why I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to have my own business so I didn't have to go ask the employer, hey, can I have this weekend off to go do ministry? And I knew as long as I had to go ask the man, the boss man, then my ministry, my purpose would always be hindered. So I was like, you know what? So the first step is get my wife to have enough faith in me so I can be self-employed. So then if I wanted to go on a mission trip, I can go on a mission trip. If I need to make my schedule the way I need to make it so I can get done with grass cutting at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I have a meeting, or I got to take the Royal Rangers, camping, and I need 3 hours to prepare for that, to get the tents, right? I'm not going to get fired because I'm self-employed. And I'm self-employed because I want to do ministry. But I got to back all this stuff up, and my wife has to be able to have confidence in me. I can't be fighting with her. I can't get fired from my job of husband. That's my first job. And she's going to fire me from that if I don't bring home a regular paycheck. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to get fired from my job of being a dad and a father, right? If I'm not able to provide and do and everything like that. Right? So there's all these different wants, and I can't let my feelings get in my way. But when you have a purpose, when you know why do you want your wants?
Do you think that's why a lot of people don't win the lottery, or for those that gamble, like in the casino, don't win the casino all the time because it brings into what you're talking about?
They don't win because it's a rigged system. It's designed for you not to win. Yeah, but people that exists for people to take shortcuts because they don't want to do the hard thing. You can achieve everything you want. Everything you want, you can achieve. And can I even say this? A preacher shouldn't say this, but you don't even need to be a Christian to do it. You don't need Jesus to do it. Okay? You can achieve everything you want. But you can't act on what you feel. And achieve what you want. Everybody, even the people that don't have Jesus in their life, they can tell you. In success, they can tell you. Success stories, you can say, how did you achieve this? They'll tell you. They'll tell you every uncomfortable day, every hard choice they had to make, every time they had to get up and be the one where all the responsibility fell on them, and they had to fire this person that they didn't feel like firing, and because it was hard, and they were concerned about what are people going to think, and what are this, right down the line. They could absolutely 100% tell you, I did all the crap that I didn't want to do, that I didn't feel, I was not comfortable, I didn't feel like waking up, I didn't feel like I put in 12, 15 hours a day. Well, no one feels like that. Like, you start to get angry and cranky, and all of these feelings start welling, and you're pissed, and I want to quit, and all of these feelings start coming.